People always warn you about Bali belly when you go to Bali, but by far the worst thing in Bali is the Taxi Mafia, and here's why. On this day, I had to go from Gili to Bali to then fly to Surabaya at 6:30 p.m. So I got up early and biked to the pier to catch my 9:30 a.m. ferry, where I immediately got screwed over because I apparently booked with the worst ferry service on the island, Manta Express Fastboat, and my ferry ended up being 3 hours late. So obviously, not a great start to the day. Fast forward through the not so fast fastboat ride, and we arrived at Padang Bay, where we were greeted by kind locals who wanted to help us get safely to oh, sorry, never mind. It was actually the Taxi Mafia fighting to scam us and swarming us on the narrow pier to the point people ended up yelling at them because they were so aggressive. You see, I didn't know this, but apparently Padang Bay is a no grab zone, which means the Taxi Mafia runs everything and sets prices astronomically high for tourists. So, needing to get to the airport ASAP, I asked for a price and all of them said $40 USD for a spot in a van, which I couldn't do as I needed to get a bike because it is faster and I was short on time. But they all kept trying to convince me a van was faster, which is obviously not the case. Eventually, one guy did say he would drive me by bike, but for $60 USD, and admittedly, I was being a petty bitch because I got scammed when I first arrived to Bali and wasn't going to let it happen again. So I told him $30, take it or leave it, and this guy actually agreed. But instead of driving me to the airport, he proceeded to drive me around the port area for 10 minutes trying to find someone else to take me instead. So I eventually just got off and started walking my ass out of town to hitchhike, which the guy yelled at me for. But even on my way out of town, 4 drivers tried to convince me to go with them and wouldn't take no for an answer. So at this point, I was totally okay with missing my flight, so long as it meant I didn't have to give these people a single dime. Fortunately though, Indonesian locals are incredibly nice, and the first person I waved down gave me a ride even though he didn't speak a lick of English. He drove me about 25 minutes on his little 50cc scooter and dropped me off at an intersection along a highway where I offered him 200,000 rupiah and he only took 50,000 of it, and then I ordered a Grab, which luckily got me to the airport right as my flight was boarding. After my flight, where I was given some interesting food options, I arrived in Surabaya where I went to my first ever mall in Asia, and it was amazing. It was almost entirely empty, but it was massive and it had a cool arcade as well as a cute little train that drove people around. I also ended up going to a Japanese restaurant where I had this drink with questionably shaped gooey things inside, and then went to sleep. Okay, bye.